Would you do the honors, Joe, and introduce these two players?
Alright, well, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, Belshir Vestige, ladies and gentlemen. This guy definitely knows his way around a Strata 2 and has absolutely no desire to 6 Evo any of his opponents in the near future. Partly because he plays Protoss, and partly because it's just a bad idea. Representing my insanity, ladies and gentlemen, we have Wilko. And his opponent, spawning in the top left position of the map as the red Protoss player. Losing game number 2 after getting a very quick win on game 1. He's shown some pretty solid play so far, but his engagements didn't quite go the way he wanted them to. Will he win game number 3? He is Arthur.
Just you wait. I've got Life on my friends list on his EU account. I'm gonna message him and be like, Life, since you're still only in Gold League on this account, go 6 Evo, 6 pull, and win the game. Send me the replay so I can send it to Jarostar. And he'll be like, yeah, sure.
I wonder, do we know, by the way, if this Arthur is the ex-Slayers Arthur?
I don't know.
Or, and ex-Western Wolves Arthur?
I think someone in the chat said Western Wolves, so it may very well be.
Well, Arthur's definitely left Western Wolves now in his team list.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it is still the same guy, because he plays Protoss as well. So it wouldn't necessarily surprise me. But we'll keep that in mind. Just get confirmation from the admins in just a second. I suspect it is, though, as once again we see so far pretty much exact mirror of the builds here in this game.
Yep, that's all good. You know, you did worry me, Joestar, by the way, when you said, I wonder if this is the Arthur. I thought you were going to say, like, go on for some, like, Knights of the Round Table shiz. Try and make a joke
Excalibur.
out of it. Is this the Arthur?
That'd be a little bit harsh. He wins the series 2-1 and drives his sword through the eye of his opponent.
I don't know. That would definitely get us like.
That would get a lot of viewers.
Stream views. Yeah, like all the viewers.
You could only really run a tournament like that once.
Probably
that is the downside. So you can go with a bang, but really that's about it.
It'd be like, to be fair though, like, just look at how some people do. All we really need to do is fall asleep and turn on our webcams.
That's quite true, actually. That's a very good point. Fall asleep, turn on your webcam, get 6,000 viewers watching you. In fact, I'm not sure I'm very comfortable with 6,000 people watching me sleep now that I think about it. Now that I've thought this through, this is beginning to sound like more and more of a really bad idea. And conversely, speaking of good ideas, or at least potentially good ideas, it looks like both of these players have more or less had the same thought as they both put down their Twilight Councils almost at the same time.
This is spooky. It's almost like 6,000 people are watching you sleep, spooky.
Oh, dude, can we please get DT versus DT?
That leads to the most comical games in the world.
Oh, I seriously want to see DTs versus DTs. There is nothing.
Have you not seen that? I saw Grubby. I cast actually a game on my YouTube of Grubby doing that against it was someone I didn't recognize their name, and it was the funniest game you've ever seen. Like probes were running around everywhere, just randomly putting down pylons, and it was just like, and there was like 7 DTs out for each player, just like fanning out across the map, always bumping into each other. It was.
By the way, guys, that was for. Both of them going Blink, because it looks like they're not going to be both going DT. We are going to see what looks like to be possibly one of the most micro-intensive things you can do in StarCraft, which is micro-Blink Stalkers against someone else's Blink Stalkers. This could get a little bit rough. The Mothership Core trying to pick up a couple of her. Does have enough energy left for a mass recall, by the way. Is he going to be using it? If he uses it, it has to be pretty soon, and I don't know why he did that. I don't know why he did that.
Because, dear Jurasa,
okay, yeah.
The knowledge bomb's coming down. If you've got enough gas to remake it immediately...
Yes, but he's not remaking it immediately.
Well, if he was...
Okay.
It means that you get the energy back quicker than if you'd done a mass recall because it spawns with 50 energy.
That's true, but he had something like 70... wait. He had like 120 energy, I want to say. On that Mothership Core when it went down, so I'm not sure that would have been the case. Basically, he had close to 3/4 energy and he didn't use any of it, is what I'm trying to get at.
What we need to do is we need to consult the repository of information, which is the Team Liquid forums, to find out someone who's made a thread about precisely when it's more energy efficient. But Arthur is going to lose his Mothership Core too!
Alright, eye for an eye, yeah?
Eye for an eye. No swords were used in taking the eye, though. That's an important thing to know.
That's true. Absolutely no swords and no impaling. By the way, I do have official confirmation now from 2 different reliable sources, or one reliable source in our admin and one slightly less reliable source in Penguin from Switzerland, because he might be drunk at the moment, saying yes, it is in fact the ex-Slayers and ex-Western Wolves Arthur.
Penguin's awesome. Like that's
I love
just gonna
Penguin.
that's just gonna be my comment on it.
I am going to go for a couple of weekend trips to the My Insanity gaming house, just to like brush up my own StarCraft at some point. I'm going to find weekends when I'm not casting and just fly to Switzerland for the weekend. That's genuinely what I'm going to do. I'll do 3 or 4 of those this year, maybe.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
I'm
Oh,
hoping.
DTs!
Hey!
DTs are coming in! Hey, DTs.
Oh, and he's moving back. He saw the ripple of 2 DTs moving together. Wilko's trying to get back in time for a sentry to walk out. Holy crap! That is the clutchest of clutch force fields. Oh my god. The sentry that was warping in at literally the last quarter of a second, putting that force field down and possibly saving the game from Arthur bringing in 2 DTs to absolutely wreak havoc. That is the definition of clutch.
That force field, I don't even know how it happened.
Damn.
It's like...
Oh.
That's like when a Baneling morphs just before it's about to die and blows up like 20
Oh,
zerglings.
dude, yeah, like
Zerglings
Zerglings
around it.
surrounding a Baneling when a player thinks they have enough time to get it to cancel, and it was actually already halfway morphed. So when it gets down to like 5 hit points, it becomes a Baneling and kills 20 lings or something.
Yeah.
That's painful. That's
Or, you know, anytime you see a Widowmine... anytime you see a Hellbat drop, it's pretty similar.
Or Marines going over a Baneling landmine and not necessarily blowing up. Like the player misses the Baneling landmine, all of us are sat there going, oh! And then it doesn't happen, and we have to reset our heart palpitations and make sure.
See, that's the worst thing of Widowmines.
Take our medicine again and get ready for the next moment that's going to be like that. It's terrifying.
No, Widowmines have ruined Burrow Banelings for me, because I always used to be like one of those people who got like crazy nerd moments about Burrow Banelings. I was like, oh my god, and I just like watched them obsessively. And now Widowmines basically are just a reusable Burrow Baneling. It's lost all its appeal for
Kind
me.
of, except
explosions.
Except you can control when borrowed Banelings go off, I guess. So there's a certain degree of flexibility with them in exchange for, of course, the obvious fact that you can only use them once. I would like to see someone, though, just for comical effect, burrow a Widowmine and then scan and use it to kill Banelings. I would like that a lot, I've decided. And, ooh, War Prism trying to get in here, and Wilko getting advance notice of that. Thanks to the pylon in the top right, by the way, if you're wondering how the heck he magically got those Stalkers into position. And Arthur is forced to turn back. So this really feels like a game that, even though it's normalizing, I get the impression, correct me if I'm wrong, Battles, I kind of get the impression that Arthur's scouting around in case Wilko will give him a free win some way or other, if that makes sense. So he tried the DTs to see if he can just get crippling damage to the economy done in case Wilko wasn't prepared. He's trying the Warp Prism now in case he didn't have that area of his base scouted out with a pylon or a couple of units, then he can get a massive Zealot Warp into like take out a key building or kill off a whole bunch of probes. That hasn't worked, so they're transitioning into a normal game on both sides, but because Arthur's tried those little sneaky things, Wilko's currently just over 10 supply ahead.
Yeah, and I think that's really a good point to make, that Wilko's just been playing it safe and solid and pretty much like it's a bit of a turtle and hare situation right now, where Arthur is the hare just trying to get that sneaky little shortcut, get a little bit ahead, whereas Wilko's just slow and steady, getting together his stuff and happily macroing up, getting his second robotics facility, all of these things, and that's giving him, over time, that slowly bigger lead. But Arthur, he's transitioning really nicely, I've got to say. Like, he's got his extended thermal lance, +1 coming down. He's getting everything he needs. Plus, he's got the option with the Dark Shrine down to get a few Archons. That's something that Wilko doesn't have access to.
No, that's a really good point. Having those Archons could end up being the extra oomph in an army that really sort of catapults your way through your opponent. In fact, if we take a quick look at what the army supplies currently are, we can see that Wilko is very slightly ahead, and the reason he's slightly ahead is because he has got 2 Colossi out on the field already, to only the first one that just popped out from Arthur, so the third one from Wilko, I believe, is incoming. And, or in fact already on the field. So he's going to have a little bit of a lead in that regard. But in exchange for that, I'm looking forward to seeing if Arthur makes use of his ability to make Archons here. And I think he has a very slightly larger gateway army as well. Correct me if I'm wrong. Let's do some
It is
maths.
fractionally larger, but he's also up against a tough situation where actually Wilko can go for double Colossus production and has done that for an entire production cycle before the second robotic facility has come out. But Arthur's going to try and level that out, going for some immortal drops. A double immortal drop, but unfortunately, there are 4 stalkers here. Arthur, I really hope he's paying attention, and he's not!
Doing it. Well, to be fair, these Stalkers are looking pretty dead against these Immortals here, but a couple of Zealots being warped in should just about fix that. And, well, I think he's going to have to warp in 1 or 2 more units, or is he, to deal this off? No, the Zealots focused down one Immortal and then the other. And surprisingly, wow, I did not expect all 3 Zealots to survive.
It is because the Archons were attacking different Zealots. Not the Archons, the Immortals were attacking different Zealots.
I was about to say, I'm waiting for the Archons, but where the heck? Okay, fair enough. No, that's a great point to make, actually. One of the Zealots surviving with a single hit point and no shields. So that's about as close call as you can get. That's the 1 day away from retirement Zealot right there.
Poor Zealot. He should get his bonus and just be allowed to go and warp back to whatever fine planet he likes. What planet would you warp to?
Not Char. Is my constructive criticism there.
It's not Char, anywhere but Char.
As much as I like my sunshine, as much as I like my exotic destinations, Char is not on my list of places to see if I can get a cheap flight via Ryanair.
Ryanair would definitely take you to Char.
They would. They'd probably pay me to take me to Char. It's so cheap, they would fly me there for negative money. Would not surprise me. And in the meantime, guys, of course, while we were talking about exotic holiday destinations and Arthur is about to complete his Templar archives about a minute before Wilko in-game, both players have third bases. So while there has been action in this game, the players once again seem to be adopting a little bit more of a laid-back style where they just allow each other to macro up, with Arthur just poking in with harassment every so often. So far, that hasn't really worked.
Now, I am going to give you one cool little stat I've just taken out of the game, Jorasar. And that is Wilko is currently losing, on average, just shy of 100 resources a minute. That's all. So he's not actually losing very much to Arthur's aggression.
That's actually pretty useful to know. I mean...
That's a Swiss number, right, isn't it?
Yeah,
like I did
definitely.
maths in my head and it worked.
Let me take a look. And
Are
well,
you
he's at
clarifying
175 to 158. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's
Wilko's
slightly
ahead.
Yeah, he's very slightly ahead. And in a mirror matchup, guys, let's not beat around the bush or anything. Being very slightly ahead can very easily win you games, because if the 2 armies are equal, guys, and one person is 1 more Colossus than the other, you're not going to get a situation where one guy wins, but the 1 Colossus is remaining at the end, right? The side with the Colossus is going to do so much more damage that he'll actually end up with half of his army left, as opposed to just that 1 Colossus. So that extra little bit, especially in this mirror matchup, makes all the difference, which is why, even though basically against a Zerg or against a Terran, Wilko's 15 supply ahead, and we would go, oh, that's a good advantage, but let's see if he can convert it. In this case, all other things being equal, it's actually a huge advantage in PvP.
Well, we do see now that Wilko's starting to position himself in posture for that attack. He's at 199 supply. He is about to get +3 Protoss ground weapons kicking in. It's about 30 seconds away. He's got charge about to get activated. The Colossi count is 8 on each side, though. Jorasar, the Archon count, 4 to 3 in Wilko's favor. The big difference, though, is Wilko has 5 Immortals against only 3 of Arthur.
Yep, and here we go. The engagement is beginning. A whole crap ton of laser beams, ladies and gentlemen. And Arthur actually has a very, very good position on top of the ramp, and he has 4 Archons as well. So when I said all things being equal, Arthur could have had a slightly better position and still lost this engagement, but this position is actually crushingly good for him because of those Archons he had in front, and that's going to be enough.